Hey everybody, it's Robert here with Faking Culture. Please bear with us. This episode was kind of concocted about 6 hours ago. We had a little bit of technical difficulties with the footage that we were going to be releasing this week for this week's episode. By technical difficulties, what I really mean to say is Jeff
forgot to charge the cameras.
It happens. In his defense though, we were going to do a kind of an offset, kind of an oversight. Oversight's not really the word I want to use, but just kind of like a collage of a barbecue that we had that my co-host Mike hosted at his house. We do barbecues almost on a weekly basis. We've been kind of slacking this summer. Last summer it was pretty strong, but because we were on a remote setting, we didn't have the cameras that we're used to on set. They're plugged in all the time. It was a little slight oversight. That's been corrected. In any event, what we're going to be doing this evening is cooking a steak in an air fryer. Why not? We were looking for something that was easy to shoot, that was kind of quick, and I say that ironically now because we are literally on about 2.5 hours, I believe, between setup and rehearsal. So we're going to cook a steak in the air fryer tonight. Let's see how this turns out. That looks weird. That's stupid. Don't I look funny?
You're overthinking it.
I am. I don't know. Okay, we're going to cook a steak. Nobody's a stranger at making steak. Very simple ingredients. This is what we have. Salt. Pepper. Garlic powder. Olive oil. Truffle butter. And your favorite beverage. As with anything that you cook, as we just mentioned, don't forget your favorite beverage. I'm going to have a sip of that now. What we're going to do now is we're going to season the steak. I'm going to plop this bad boy right here. I'm using a bone-in ribeye, which, well, was supposed to be a bone-in ribeye, and as I'm looking at it, I see no bone. I'll have to talk to my butcher about that. But in any event, and by butcher I mean Winn-Dixie, who was on the way home from work. Again, like I said, this was a very last-minute type thing. So in any event, what you're going to want to do is you're going to start with a little bit of olive oil. We're going to run a little bit of olive oil on it. Not a lot. You don't want to get too much on there. You're just basically using it as a binding agent to get your seasoning to stick. Make sure you get around the edges. Now that you have that on, we're going to move to our salt. I always like to start with the salt. What that does is it kind of creates a background so you can visually see how much of the other seasoning that you're putting on it, which is really not a lot because there's only salt and pepper and garlic powder. But you can kind of judge. Salt is one of those things that's very forgiving with a piece of meat. So let's just go ahead and do that now. We're just going to go ahead and lay a whole bunch of salt on here. I do want to point out that these cooling racks are excellent. Anytime that you're seasoning a piece of meat, you really don't want it sitting on a flat surface. You use these cooling racks, it kind of lifts it up off the bottom. It doesn't stick to anything. It doesn't smear the seasoning when you go to flip it to season the other side. It just worked excellent. So we've got our salt on it now. We're going to crack a little bit of pepper on here. I don't mind pepper, I just don't like too much of it. So that's going to go on as we sit. Then we're going to move on to our garlic powder. We're just going to kind of tap a little bit of that on there. As such. And you're just going to rinse and repeat. Now that that's sitting there, it's kind of absorbing into the oil, it's sticking to the meat. We're going to flip it over and basically repeat that exact process on the other side. Now that the steak is seasoned, we're going to be placing it into the air fryer. You really do kind of want to preheat the air fryer. When you start it, it kind of does its own kind of preheat sequence. We're going to be cooking at 400 degrees, and we're going to be doing probably about 6 to 8 minutes per side. You do want to flip it. Basically, you want to go ahead and get everything inside the air fryer hot. The preheat feature that it actually has, because it's the nature of an air fryer, it comes to temp pretty quick. But you kind of really want the grate that you're going to be sitting it on to already be at temperature. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is that you need to let your steak temper. And by that, what I mean is Don't put a cold steak in your air fryer. Don't put a cold steak on your smoker. Don't put a cold steak anywhere, even especially on your cast iron pan. Basically, when you throw that on, it's going to suck all the heat out of the pan, and you're going to lose your searing ability. If you let the steak get to room temperature, or even close to room temperature, you're going to minimize that quite a bit. You're going to get a lot better searing action. We're not doing any of that today because we're in an air fryer, but I'm just kind of a creature of habit. So I've already preheated it to 400 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and use my duck lips. If you don't have a pair of these, please get them. They are absolutely excellent. Now let's get this thing in the air fryer and see what we end up with. Get your steak. Place it right there in the middle. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Place it in your air fryer. Now we're just going to close the door. It's going to pop on. We're going to hit air fry. We're going to go for, let's just go 12 minutes. And this one's got a rotate feature, so it should, in theory, it'll stop at 6 minutes, or at least beep at 6 minutes, so I can pull it out and flip it. Now when that happens, I'm definitely going to need the duck lips like all you chicks on your Instagram. So anyway, let's get back to the air fryer. We're going to get this started. It's going to do a little preheat action, and then it's going to go right into its cook. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells phenomenal. We're literally going to pull it out of the fryer right now. I think we're up to temp. Let's see what we got going on here. I've already kind of did a little instant meat probe to it for the gram, you know, duck lips. Let's get this thing out. Ooh, buddy. All right. We're going to use our spatula to get this steak off. Now I don't want to flip it around. If I flip it around, see all those juices on top? When the steak rests, they're going to actually be absorbed back into the steak. One thing that you did not see while I was off camera, or while we were cooking it in the air fryer, you see how this is sticking out here? If you cut this tendon right here, it kind of prevents your steak from doing the bubble up thing, because as it heats up and cooks, the tendons tense up. And when it does that, it makes the center of the meat just kind of bubble up, and then you kind of lose contact. It's kind of more important when you're cooking on like a cast iron pan for pan surfaces. On a grill and a smoker, in the air fryer, probably not so much. But for presentation purposes and habit, I guess you could say, I did it anyway. I cut that little tendon there. We got our steak laying flat. What I'm going to do now, we're going to let this rest. You at least want to let all your steaks rest for at least a good 5 minutes. You remember this? The truffle butter? What I'm going to do now is actually completely forget ramekin. Don't forget your ramekin. I'm going to take some of this truffle butter, and what I'm going to do, actually I don't have to now because it's been sitting out long enough it's softened up. I was going to put it in the ramekin and put it back in the air fryer just to soften it up. This butter, it's kind of a whipped consistency, but it's not soft like most of your whipped butter. But we don't have to worry about it now. So I'm going to just lay this right here on top. Kind of spread it around a little bit. Oh wow, look at that. And as this rests, this truffle butter is just literally going to be absolutely f***ing delicious. So we're just going to let that sit there for a minute. It's going to rest and kind of do its thing. And after it's had a chance to rest, we're going to come back, cut into this thing, and see if I overcooked it. I probably did. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I did. Resting kind of helps you out in that aspect because everybody wants a picture perfect red center. You know what I mean? Let's just check. I was incorrect. I'm at 139 degrees, 137. It's kind of bouncing around. Medium rare, you kind of want to be at about 135. We're close enough to where near enough doesn't make a difference. So we're literally going to just take a break right now, let this rest. We're going to come back and see just how good or bad this really is. steak is done resting. We're gonna cut this up. I've got Brittany and Jeff here behind the scenes. We're gonna have a little piece of this and see what it looks like. I mean, I can smell it, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It smells phenomenal. That truffle butter may be a little too much. It's got a very, very, very pungent, in a good way, aroma.
Yep.
Yep. But let's cut into this thing. We're going to trim some of the pieces. We'll just put that off to the side because we really want to get to the heart of this thing. This was supposed to be a bone-in ribeye. I think they forgot to put the bone back in it after the butcher took care of it. We're going to set these off to the sides here. And I've mixed it up. You're supposed to cut against the grain. Now I've already cut everything that identifies where the grain's going off, and now I got to figure that out, but I think I have it figured out. We're just going to start slicing. So here, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put that there. Let's just look inside. That is not very appetizing. It's kind of deceiving though, because you can see here we've got our red where we need to be. This here is a little bit of a fat. Let's just cut another slice into that. There we go. It's more of a medium well as opposed to medium rare as I'm used to. So, but that's okay. I still think it's gonna be great. Air fryer steak. Let's just see what we end up with. We're gonna cut a few more slices here. Proper slices. Apparently my co-host, as you saw, yeah, it's, you know, I'm really not digging. I'll be honest with you. I'm really not digging the texture and the colorization on the inside. You know, maybe the truffle butter saved it, because I know the truffle butter is going to be rather overpowering, I believe. We'll go here.
It's a thin cut piece of meat too, though.
It was a little thin. So let's do this. There's a piece for Brittany. Trying to get a meaty part. There's a piece for Jeff, a little bit of fat on it. I'll hand these off to Brittany. You can't see her. But Brittany, how you doing this evening?
Fantastic.
She missed her opportunity to say yep, but that's okay. But she is doing great tonight. Let's just see. It's definitely tough. I don't know if I'm a fan. Jeff, what do you think?
Not too bad. It is a little bit of a grain. It's like a tight grain.
Here's the deal.
That butter is awesome though.
Butter is phenomenal.
Butter.
The butter is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. We did not use a cheap piece of meat, but we cooked it in an air fryer. I actually did a little bit of research before this video, as I have never done this before. And everybody else's video made their steak look very succulent, very perfect, very great. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Taste-wise, I mean, flavor-wise, what do y'all think? I mean,
Yep.
flavor-wise, it's not bad,
good.
right?
It's good.
It's good. It's pretty good. Texture-wise, I don't like the texture. I don't know if that's an air fryer thing. We actually make these jokes all the time about, look, it really doesn't matter how good it is. You just say it's good. It's on camera. They can't taste it. But I can taste it. The texture's just not there. What do you think, Jeff?
I wonder how it would be with a thicker cut.
Thicker. You know what? Let's try. Let's move some of this to the side.
You know, because this is a problem with all thin cut steaks.
Yeah, that's just... Oh, wait. I think I found the bone. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me flip this over, because I'm pretty sure... Oh, look at that. Look, hold on. Do you see that, Jeff?
Yes.
I found the f***ing bone. Let me cut the bone out of this. So they weren't lying. That is a bone-in ribeye. That actually looks a lot better texture-wise. So I'm going to put the bone off to the side. It's a shame Brandy's not here with Ruger. Well, he'd probably choke on that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's too small.
Yeah. So let's just see what we got here. Let's cut into this a little bit more. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. I really don't think it's... I mean, it's not bad. It's completely edible. I might have to revisit this in a later episode because, like I said, I did some research. It looked great in their videos. Not so much in mine. But, Jeff... Oh, here, I'll just stick that right in your mouth. Brittany, I forgot I gave you guys forks,
I mean,
but
it's not bad.
it's not. It's not. It's just I'm big
I
on
feel
like
like-
texture.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a rough ribeye.
What I do love is the crust that the air fryer creates. It's just got a really nice crust on the outside of it. It has no grill marks, but the crust that's created, I'm assuming by the convection aspect of an air fryer, turned out pretty good. But see that? That looks actually pretty good. Texture-wise, though, it's just not there. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. In last episode, we forgot Jameson and Red Bull, so we couldn't do our traditional Irish porn star shot. And this episode, we did the exact same thing. We kind of modified the ending of last episode with a shot of Jim, I believe.
Jim Beam.
Of Jim Beam, because Mike never travels without his Jim Beam. And so we had something to do a shot of. After we did that shot, after we got done, we decided we still do have to go do an Irish porn star. It's what we do in every episode. And then we were just thinking, we're going to go do that again as well. So we're going to head up to Daly's. We're going to have our Irish porn star shot. And I don't hate it.
I'm going to put it down to it's just a cut of meat.
I'm not dissing on Winn-Dixie. I buy a lot of meat from there. They're excellent with their pork.
A little fatty and grizzly than a normal ribeye.
I don't know. We're going to revisit this. That's what we're going to do. I think for now, we're going to go up to Daly's, have an Irish porn star shot in the actual episode. We do appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe. Tell us what you think of this. How does this look to you? Your perspective from your side of the camera. Tell us down below in the comments what you would have done differently. Have you ever cooked a steak in an air fryer? I don't know. I've never done it before. So literally, go down there, leave us a comment. Tell us what you would have done different. Everybody has their own opinion. We'd love to hear it. Guys, thanks for tuning in. And ladies, and I don't have time to name off all the other genders. But we can't use that. So anyway, we're using it. So anyway, you guys have a good night, ladies and everybody else, whatever. We're going to go do a shot of Jameson and Red Bull and Irish porn star at Daly's. We'll see you soon. Tune in next time. As always, we're going to end the episode with a porn star shot here at Daly's. Not always at Daly's, we just forget to buy Jameson. So, guys, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Don't get the keyboard wet.
That's what he said.
Not bad. Tune in next time. You're going to see Jeff actually in the next episode. He's going to do an air fryer trick. Mike is going to follow that up with his own episode. And he's also going to cook something in an air fryer.
Yep.
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 Thanks again. We love you guys.